So a big hello and welcome to my artist vlog. I'm Sonya and I guess I'm a bit of an amateur artist, and I thought I would make this blog to show people my progress throughout a week of my paintings. And I do a bit of sketchbook work and I do some larger works on paper, and I'm working in gouache as well as acrylic paints, and I even do a soft pastel painting. So as I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoy loose work, that's the style that I paint in. And yeah, grab a cuppa and enjoy.
Okay, so from now on I'll probably do some voiceovers. I find it easier doing my art in kind of silence. So I decided to go through some old photos on this day, and I found this nice black and white photo of my mother-in-law when she was young. She passed a few years ago, and she was a wonderful, wonderful woman, and we miss her a lot. So I really enjoyed doing this little portrait of her. And I decided to go back to my watercolors for this, and I'm just again doing it in my very sketchy, quick style where I just sketch it out with my paintbrush. I often do this when I want to be really loose, instead of using a lead pencil or a coloured pencil to sort of draw something out first. I just sketch it out straight with a paintbrush, and if accidents happen, they kind of happen. And I guess that's the joy of like trying to be loose, is that you can't control all the mistakes. And sometimes when you want to be loose, you have to let go and just go with the flow, and what happens happens. So yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed doing this one using my watercolors. I just used my little travel palette for this because I was trying to get it down quite quick. This is sped up a little bit in this video, but I was working quite quickly, trying to keep that rhythm of being loose and sketchy. You can't work slow, you have to sort of just go for it. So yeah, you can see here I'm just sketching out the dog and just putting the darks in. And then I've come back with the lighter colour, and now I'm just putting the lighter fur in there. And that's how I decided to work this painting on this particular day. And I think it turns out quite all right. You'll see in a minute I add the background, which is basically a big kind of pine type tree behind her, and she's just standing on some grass on some lawn. And I kind of wish that when I do go and put that background in, I wish I kind of left it and didn't do the background. But, that's what sketchbooks for, and, you can't go back. So if I ever did this again, maybe I might just leave it as the portrait itself. But this whole journey that I'm on is I've never considered myself an artist, or I've always considered myself, I guess you could say, oh, I'm an amateur artist. I want to be artist. So I'm always trying to try new ways of painting, trying to find new styles that I might like, trying to find what I'm good at. And so here, anyway, you can see what I was talking about this background here. There's a lot of green. I decided to put a border around it as well, but that's the finished image. Okay, the next day, again, I'm on my gotta be loose trip. This is Australia Day. My husband went to Australia Day breakfast. Sorry about my throat, there's getting a bit dry. Yeah, he went to Australia Day breakfast. It was going to be like 39 degrees Celsius. So I'm like, no, I'm not going. I stayed home, went on the internet, looked up some photos of Australia Day. And I think this one is actually a photo from last year. And I found it on a few different internet sites. So it's probably taken by a professional photographer. Probably copyright, but I'm only doing it for myself, to have a little practice in my sketchbooks. So, yeah, I'm on this, gotta be loose train at the moment. But had a lot of fun with this one. This is all in acrylic gouache there. You can see all my little pots on the side. When I use these, I don't really mix colours too much. I just use them straight out of the pot. Just keep it simple. And I'm just using a bit of detail with a bit of, I think it's white gel pen there, adding the details to the flag. But yeah, looking back now, it's funny how you don't see it till afterwards, but that boat is way too small for those people. But it was a hell of a lot of fun. There it is. Okay, on to the next day now. Again, trying to be loose, seeing if I like this style. And again, I went back through some old family photos and found this photo. I think it's of my daughter's, I really don't know if it was her third or fourth birthday, with a couple of, with her sister and a couple of friends over, and that's me standing there in the white. And again, I'm just sketching it out very loosely with my paintbrush and a bit of green paint. Again, this is all in gouache. For some reason, to stay loose, I just really enjoy the process of sketching everything with the paintbrush. You should try it sometime. It's really liberating, because I mean, you can do mistakes because you're going gouache paints over, it's opaque and it paints over mistakes. So you can make mistakes and fix them up later. So I go in and what I do, I'm terrible at people, I've realised, but what I do is I do their bodies kind of first, and then I go in and I do their heads. So I've gone and sketched all these people without their heads, and then I go in and do the heads. So probably a weird way to work, but that's how I do it. And like I said, I'm not the greatest at sketching people. But this sure is a fun way of painting, and I don't think I would ever do a finished painting in this style, like on a canvas or a huge bit of water paper or something like that you've framed. But it's just fun to try different styles in your sketchbook, and that's what it's about, like seeing what you like, what you don't like, what are you good at, what are you not good at. Like after this page, I realized that I really suck at doing people's faces, like absolutely hate doing people's faces, and my bodies are a bit off. The actual, like this little boy that I'm painting now, he actually probably turned out the best. I do like, maybe not so much his face, but I did like how his body turned out. And probably, yeah, my daughter right in the middle there, which happened to be right in the crack of the sketchbook. She turned out the best as well. But these other figures, like myself standing up and my daughter who I'm doing now and her little cousin next to her, they were a nightmare. I really, found them really hard to do. I could have been fussy and gone back in and redone them, but I just, I didn't want it to start getting tight, so I just left it as they were. And no one really looks like how they're supposed to look like. but I was just having fun, and that's what sketchbooks are about, is having fun and trying different things. So here I've got a bit more progress going on. You can see I've started with a red background, and I'm doing this a lot lately. It just takes the fear of the white page away, and it's something that I learned from an artist here on YouTube called Jane Slivka. And yeah, she does amazing loose portraits. If you're into loose artwork, her channel's got all tutorials step by step. Fantastic artist, and she starts with a red background, and it's also great, she leaves a little bit of the red background in her painting, so just little snippets of it that you can see, and I really like that look. And I used to do that a lot with some landscapes I used to do. Yeah, I decided why not do it in this sort of picture as well. I guess you'd call it like a family still life. So yeah, I'm just doing the window there. Um, and you can see I'm just going back over, darkening some skin tones here. And I have this it's a beautiful flesh colour that's already pre-mixed in the gouache paint. And yeah, it's just so easy to not have to mix any colours. Guess it's a bit of a cheats way, but when I'm working in a sketchbook, I figured, why am I bothering mixing all these wonderful colours? I don't really need to. This is just playtime. Playtime, guys. So here I'm doing, I just did the little boys, what do you call them? Gee, I haven't seen them for years because my kids are all grown up now. What are they? The party poppers, not party poppers. They blow and I've lost the name of them. But the ones that you blow and they make the big horrible noise. This has been a favourite photo of mine for a while, sitting in my cupboard. And who knew that I would paint it one day? This is in our old house. We've lived in, let's see, 4 different houses since I've been married to my husband. So this is our first home together, and it has very special memories. We got married while we were in this home. We had our 2 daughters while we were in this home. I really loved the gardens in this home. This was a terrific home, except it just got too small for the family. It was very small bedrooms, very small kitchen. It had lounge/dining together, and we just outgrew it. But it has very, very special memories, and it was kind of like that cottagey style with all the like French type windows, and I really did love this house. So yeah, just going in, adding some details here. You can see I've added the little faces at this stage that I'm not really liking. And here I'm putting in the wall colour, which isn't quite exactly the same as the actual wall colour, but I remember it was like a pastel minty sort of green. And I remember painting these walls several times while living there. For some reason, I just kept painting the walls a different colour every year. So here's the end result. And yeah, I'm just showing a pencil there. I had to go in and add some more detail with a bit of lead pencil there. And there's my very loose portrait picture. Here I started this still life. I wanted to redo it again, and just with some gouache, and just changed it slightly. I started it but didn't finish it. It wasn't going how I wanted to, so I stopped that, and I got out my pin board. because I'm kind of at this stage, I'm over this loose mucking around in my sketchbook stage. I've had a lot of fun, but I'm kind of feeling like I want to get serious again and do some good art. Not that that wasn't good art. You may have thought that was good art. It was fun, but I decided to get out my favorite paintings that I've done. And they happen to be landscapes. All my favorite paintings seem to be landscapes. So I decided to get them out and pin them up and stick them around my work area. Now, those two paintings there that you just saw, they're not originals. They are like little copies of two paintings I've seen from an artist. This one here is an original. This is a still life of my own that I set up myself. And yeah, I've been playing with that lately, changing a few things in it. But yeah, these two paintings are copies from an artist that I liked her style. I did these about 6 or 8 months ago. And I really like how they turned out. So they're sort of inspiration pieces. So just tidying up my workspace here at the moment and on to tomorrow. So here is that pin-up board that I put for inspiration. It's got all my favourite paintings I've done. And here's my workspace. I just decided to surround myself with my favourite pieces. So here's a new day, and I decided to have a bit of a play with some watercolour undercoat for a beautiful pastel drawing, soft pastels here that I've got. And yeah, it's just of this lovely old gum tree with a path below it. And I haven't played with pastels for so long, so it was really sort of weird getting back into them. But bit by bit, I started adding details and getting more colours in there, and I was having a lot of fun. You can see all the little different tones in there. And the thing is with soft pastel, if you want to give it a go, is it takes a lot of layers, and don't give up too early on your painting. Sometimes I look at it and I think it's finished, and then I'll walk out the room and I'll come back and I realise, no, I need to add a bit more colour here or there. So, and you can just keep adding layers after layer after layer, especially if you use like a fixative in between your layers. Sometimes you can really build on that. But this was so much fun. And yeah, here's the finished image here. And yeah, I'm really happy how it turned out. Okay, so it's the next day here, and I decided to do the same tree again, but this time in my acrylic paints. It's probably my preferred kind of medium. I'm not used to doing so much work in pastels. So again, I wanted to keep it nice and loose, and I was using quite a thick brush and just kind of blocking in colours with quick sort of dabs of paint. It's kind of a new technique that I'm trying to get better at, and yeah, I'm liking this one much better than my pastel one. I decided not to do the little trees in the background, and yeah, I'm really happy how this one turned out. I think I like it better. Then on the same day, I also did this flower painting. This is the underpainting, and then this is me putting in the very loose flowers and details. Again, this is on the red background, and I haven't done flowers for ages and ages. So it was really nice to do a vase of flowers. And my husband actually commented when he came home about the lovely flowers. He loves floral paintings. So tomorrow I'll do some more of these. Okay, so here we are for the last day of the week. Here you see me doing a purple background to start this floral still life. And I've bought some new paints. They're by Montmartre here in Australia. It's an Australian brand of paint, and it's their Dimension range, which is a thicker acrylic than their normal signature range. So, and I'm really loving them for this painting. So I get to be loose and nice and globby. Is globby a word? But it's really nice paint and I love it. So if you're in Australia, give it a go. They say you can do palette knife painting with it. It's thick enough for that. So I'll have to try that one day. But this is a floral. It's inspired by a book I recently got. It's one of those books where it's got 100 paintings in it, and the artists tell you how they painted them. It's kind of a step-by-step, but there's only the finished image. There's not like a step-by-step images as you go. So all I've got is basically a few comments from the artist who said they started with the purple background and then they went in and did the white flowers. That's pretty much all the info they gave, really. And so I just went with the flow and roughly guided by the image in the book. And I really, really love how this turned out. And I'm really feeling like I'm starting to get the flow of a style. You know, artists always talk about having a particular style. How do I get my style? And I really do believe that it's just with painting. Just paint, 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 and see how you like painting the best. And this was so much fun. I loved this, and not only doing the loose florals, but just slapping on the paint nice and loose and in short brush strokes. It was really, really fun. So here you can see I'm doing the background, and I'm not fully covering the background. I'm leaving some of that purple in the background because I love when you can see layers. And now I'm adding some highlights, and the actual picture reference that I was going by didn't have highlights. They didn't paint highlights in their picture, but I always like adding a little bit of white to say, oh, this is where the light's coming from. And I'm afraid my camera moved. I bumped it and didn't realise, so that's why we're at this bad angle at the moment. I'm sorry about that, guys. So yeah, it bumped down a bit, but you can see I've got bits of purple, and that's Payne's grey that I put in for some shadows. I don't use black anymore in my paintings. I've gone to a nice dark Payne's grey, and I think it looks a lot better, and it's also better for mixing. So I'm going over some of my flowers in the yellow. And here we have a close-up of my work. You can see it's a really fast-paced painting, just full of spirit, I think. And here again is another close-up of the finished product. And when I was filming this up close, I noticed that I had a drip. There it is. And I nearly kept the drip because I actually like some paintings that have that drip. But I just couldn't do it. I had to take it off. But yeah, should I have left the drip? I don't know. I'll leave that to you to decide. But I'm really happy with this.
So thanks for watching, and that's the end of my artist week. Bye.